Hello boys and girls, today we're going to learn how to spawn Satan using a lamb, some random leaves, and your firstborn. No, we're going to look at the effects chain. It's not called the effects chain, it's just called chain in Bitwig. So let's do that. So I already went over this, but this is the chain. What just happened? Okay, it's down here. The mix here is basically the volume, or it'd be the volume if you had your instrument in here, but the idea is you put an instrument outside, and then outside of the instrument you would place so you put down the instrument. Why is it not? You'd have your instrument and then you'd put down your chain, and then inside your chain you'd have your sound effects. Kind of like how I have a bass chain already here, for example, that has all these things. So when I play this, why every time I want to do something you just insist on this malarkey? Wow. But yeah, right, so I have this on. You can lower the mix, which is rather quite impressive. If for some reason you want to do that, you can make it louder through the chain, in case you're into that. I'm glad that it can only go so loud. I don't know if that killed you on the inside or anything. But what I think is very cool about the chain is if you want to save lots and lots of time. I made something called Massive, but it's right here. Basically what this is a massive with an EQ already set up to do a subcut, and then a compressor and a reverb that's just 100% off. So this would be for like me making synths. So basically, if I just want something quick, like if you want to, you can set up your preset section over here, and then if I just type in like chain, all the effects I have for this will pop up. So I have like this massive over here or whatever. So say that's the only plugin I use, well then good for me, I can just drag in as many of these suckers as I want. They're all going to be like pretty much having the general plugins I want already ready to go. Another cool thing about this is, say I want to do a massive, right? And then I want to like, this is hard to show in massive. This is probably better off done in like Serum. So say I want Serum, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make something in here, right? And yeah, I'm gonna make something in the Serum. Like not a sound, but like I'll just make like some random pattern here that's gonna be quite intricate. I've messed up already. I tried to put down like high, but unfortunately I can't exactly get this part here to go the way I want it to. Ugh. But so I have this weird looking pattern here, right? And then we'll turn this to like a square wave, or no, we'll make our own like custom one of them things. So we'll save this. And actually, hang on. Here's a better example. So I have a sound, right? Let's say something like the sinusoidal pad I made. It has the reverb in it already. But say I'm just weird like this and I'll make myself presets like this. Like, let's go through them. I'll make myself presets that have like lots of stuff set up in them already, and like there's lots of FX on them. You notice like the reverb and stuff. For something like a bass, I don't mind it as much until I start adding something like a Vocodex or OTT on the outside, which just like ruins the sound. But I haven't seen that in a while. But I'll add FX to the outside. So something like a distortion hyper is different, but like say again this sinusoidal thing. So there's reverb on it. And it's got like an EQ cut and stuff, which is fine. The EQ cut's like okay or whatever, but what I'm gonna end up doing, and I always do this, is I'll just like turn off the reverb. I do this on like, what's a good example? Like Biomorphic here by Toby Emerson. I'll a lot of the time, if I ever use anything out of here, I'll just end up like turning off all reverb, and then what I do is I'll just come down here, put down my own EQ, compress it, and then I will delay. I wish there's another thing. You need to be able to click both these, select multiple things, and click OK. That's the dream. But anyways, yeah, we'll grab a delay and then throw down a reverb. But I'm gonna compress my sine wave, and then EQ out that low stuff. I'm gonna end up doing this on the outside, right? So this is, we're getting to it, don't worry. Okay, so now it's done. I've done what I wanted to do to it, right? So here's the cool thing, is what we can do. Say you plan on using Bitwig forever. Bitwig is your favorite, most favorite-ist thing ever. What we're gonna do is grab everything I just did, drag it into this chain, and now it's all in this chain here. We can save this chain by clicking the 6-dotted button here, clicking save, and then naming it. So like we'll name it like the pad sinusoidal by me or whatever, and like we can tag this too, right? So you can like go look for like tags or whatever to pads. I'm gonna name it pad or whatever, and then you can add tags to it if you want. That's how you roll, describe it, whatever. But click OK. And now this is a preset we have over here on the side. So now when I want to say like I never had this track to begin with and I'm on a fresh project, I'm like, I want to start with this to get some ideas down. Whip it down. it's already there. So it's kind of like the chain is kind of like the building blocks. Lets you set down all the building blocks for your own presets. And what's cool about this is basically I'm using the Serum just for the oscillators at this point. And then I'm using like an outside EQ, compressor, delay, and reverb. But because of Bitwig, that doesn't mean I can't actually just macro things I want, like in whatchamacallit. For example, inside of, what is this at? Oh yeah, you'd have to do like negative, whatever it is. So basically what I'm gonna do is turn off this one. This is how I like to do when I do something. I like to control the amount of reverb here. So what are you? Oh, that's right, because it has nothing attached to. So what I like to do is I like to go into a lot of my synths, or not synths, yeah, synths, and I like to have some control over like the reverb and stuff in case I just want it flat out off right away. That's a setup I do because I usually do just want it flat out off right away, so I just whoosh, don't gotta worry about it. I turn it off though just to hopefully save some CPU, more or less when I'm on like my laptop. So then what I can do in here though is you can like pretend that this here is like the macro section, and I can just name this one like delay, and then this one like reverb, and then I can come in here and just go like, this is how I do this. So if I want to know how much like delay I want, for example, I'll turn it all the way down, max out the knob that I'm going to assign it to. I did this in Harmor or Mass, or all of them actually, and I'll come here and just find what I want. So now that I know what it's at the maximum, it will be at like the most amount of reverb that I will realistically ever want it at. So then when I turn it down, it's now off. And I can now go between these things. And if I want to automate them, I can do that. And now it's just a simple 0 to 100% knob that you can just like max out, instead of having to choose between like, not choose between, having to find the actual value if you wanted to like automate this up again. And then I like to do the same thing with the reverb, like maxing out the value, I mean. So I want this reverb and delay heavy, put all those knobs back up. Like that. So that's what's cool about this. You can assign these around, and you can like clear them. You can make them bipolar, which is really cool. If you wanted to make like a mix knob bipolar, because some of them are bipolar. What's a good example of like a dry and wet, for example? So if I wanted this knob to be the dry and wet of like the reverb over here, I could just put this at like 50%. And now I have the option to dry wet this myself. Right? Although for some reason it won't go all the way down. That's interesting. You can move it around, so you can like swap with like a different macro. So like macro 3. Then it moves, which that's pretty sweet. In case you don't want it to be there, you want them to be like all organized and stuff. That's one of those cool features. And yeah, you can save these macros already in there as well. On top of them, you can just save whatever you're on. like really fast. If you want to switch it out, just use the browser. You just throw down a chain, use the browser. You can like click buttons. For example, like when you select chain, it'll show like categories. So if you actually tagged your presets, you can go ahead and click on what your tags were, so you can find them like really fast. This is actually something I'm going to start seriously doing. It's just hard when I switch over from like a MacBook to a desktop, because then like I don't have any of this anymore, so it's like stressful. Although I'm sure I'll be focusing more on my MacBook for this sort of stuff. You can name everything, obviously, as long as you have like a short name. You could attach like filters to like every single chain. You could a fast way of doing multiple sounds is for example, I'll whip out Smassive again. So I have Smassive here, and I have sounds. I can make my sounds in here, but I still have the basic processing I want, right? So say I make my sound and I'm happy with everything. I can save as, like, come in here and save as and just change the name of it. So when it comes out, it'll come out as something different, but I still have Smassive, and I can just keep loading the Smassive over and over again, and it will come out like this every time. So you save yourself a little bit of time there instead of starting from scratch each time you make like a preset or something. This is definitely going to be a thing in the future. Like if you use like native plugins to Bitwig, I don't see why not. Like why there wouldn't be like preset packs that like will tell you what kind of VSTs you need. Well, I could see problems with that, to be honest, actually. If it was something like Massive or Serum, which are like done with updates, they're what they are, and that's it. Same thing with like Harmer, I guess. You would get like a little list, and be like, oh well, it uses like this main VST, and then it uses all Bitwig's like native stuff, and then you can download their chain presets or something. I think that'd be really cool. In here, you can make I don't know if you could make money off it, but you could help. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. You could not make money off of, but you could like say you and all your friends have like a bunch of money, not a bunch of money. You all do music and you want to like have everyone, you share things. For example, I have one friend that I share some stuff with, most of which is like this silly stuff like this. And counting. Or like loops and stuff, but I share this with him. But for example, like if he had Bitwig, I could also share with him like chain presets, assuming we had like the same plugins. And if there was any like version conflicts, again, all you would have to do is come in here and do used plugins and just ignore all version conflicts to avoid any kind of problems. Yeah. So that's the chain function in Bitwig. There's nothing really else I can say. I just think it's really cool that you can like tag everything, and then if you have all your stuff, your go-to stuff set up, you can just switch between presets and your samples, really, your sample library, and grab all your, just raise this all the way up and just grab all your presets over here, would be here. One other thing about this though is if I search in Serum, that's not how you spell Serum. There is a way to, I swear I did this. Never mind. I thought there was a way. I believe there is. I'm not remembering it right now, but you could type in Serum over here by your presets, and all the presets you have built into Serum pop up as well. I think this was on my laptop, but like I had Serum in like my huge like Serum preset library, self-made and stuff I have from like Virtual Riot or Toby Emerson or whatever was popping up on the side, and then I could just like drag it over and it would drop a Serum with everything loaded into it already, which I thought was really, really cool. But I'm not remembering how to do that right now. But yeah, like chain, seriously. And then you can like compact this too. Like if you just wanted it to be like this view with the modular stuff here, the digital modular, just like macros. I mean, you could do that. So then that way, like if you're just trying to make something quick, and you're not really too worried about like the sound at the time, you could just throw down like a piano already EQ'd with reverb and all that kind of stuff done. Because this works with like Contact library, so I could like throw down a Contact and an EQ, and then like get rid of like whatever stuff I don't want in my piano. Find my piano. Let's use you. This works with third-party plugins as well. So, once again, I'll throw down a chain. And then put it in here. And then we'll just come over here, save it as, I'll save it as AC for acoustic. And then I'll say piano. And then the category will be, it has to, I would make it something that's like, you could make it as a piano preset in case you had multiple pianos, or you could just come over here and find something like a tag, a common tag to put it into. So maybe I would actually want to call that like, what do I want to call that? Orchestral. Let's call it that. So like I can put my piano and string presets in there, and I'll save it. Look for stuff. Now I've got multiple tags of orchestral and pad, and then like unknown because I didn't give this one a tag. And you can always edit the file metadata, and you can change it right away again. You just can't add a description and stuff, as far as I know. And you can even open the containing folder, which will bring you to all your presets in case you don't want one, or you can just right click in here and delete it, which is cool. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.